Hello, so this is a follow-up video to the live streaming session that I held on April 4th Korean time, where I discussed this exclusive article released by Chosun Biz, where they talked about the fact that a NewJeans parent reportedly opposed to contract termination, right? And at the time, I thought, it's not worth making a video out of it, which is why I decided to hold a live streaming session, because just to keep it low key. But then later in the evening, NewJeans members' parents' accounts made a statement about that late at night, around 9 p.m. ish, and there were multiple articles written about it. And ever since we started to take NewJeans and MiniJeans case seriously, whenever MiniJeans side came up with the statements out of nowhere, we know something is up, right? And also, the statements turns out to be weird and shocking on multiple levels. So we're gonna talk about this. And by the way, the article was written around 9 p.m. ish on the night of, and NewJeans' Instagram account changed their profile name to MHDHH _ friends. MHDHH referring to the first letter of their last names, respectively, in the order of their age from the oldest to the youngest. And their parents' accounts changed their name to MHDHH _ PR. Now let's recap this article by Chosun Biz, and I will just read a portion for you, already translated. According to industry sources on April 4th, during the first hearing held on April 3rd at the Seoul Central District Court for ADOR's lawsuit seeking confirmation of contract validity, the presiding judge addressed NewJeans' legal team, stating, regarding defendant number 4, are you saying the family court has ruled on the exercise of parental rights and has since approved all legal actions taken in the case? Currently, the underage members of NewJeans are Hyein and Haerin. The judge's remark is interpreted to mean that the parents of one of these minors were in disagreement over the lawsuit, and that the issue had to be resolved in family court. A similar issue was brought up during a previous hearing on March 7th for an injunction case over ADOR's agency status. At the time, the court noted, we need to clarify who is legally representing the minor. As of now, there's a defect in the legal representation. In legal terms, both parents of a minor are typically required to jointly exercise parental authority. The court statement indicated that there was a conflict between the parents over whether to support the lawsuit, and that the matter needed resolution. A lawyer from Heejin law firm representing NewJeans responded at the time by saying, there was a family court hearing yesterday, and we expect a ruling by next week. Once that's issued, we'll submit it, and there shouldn't be any further issues. But the court noted that under civil procedure law, any defect in representation must be corrected, adding that the issue had not yet been resolved at that point. In other words, this disagreement between the parents had prevented them from jointly representing the minor in the lawsuit. That said, in the April 3rd hearing, the court remarked that a ruling has been made regarding parental authority and all legal actions have since been approved, which suggests that the parents opposing the lawsuit had their rights limited, allowing the other parent to proceed with the legal action. Until now, the parents of NewJeans members had appeared united, using social media to assert that ADOR had breached its contract and therefore had no right to manage or interfere with the members' activities. But with the court previously siding with ADOR by approving this injunction request on March 21st, and now with signs of internal disagreement among the parents, observers suggest the dispute may be entering a new phase. And that's what the article said. To recap, here's a summary. Among the two underage members, Haerin and Hyein, there was a disagreement between one member's parents. One parent supported terminating the exclusive contract, while the other opposed it. As a result, a family court had to intervene to decide which parent could legally act on behalf of the minor. Ultimately, the court restricted the authority of the opposing parents, allowing the supporting parent to proceed with the lawsuit. Previously, the court had already noted that there were deficiencies in legal representation. Okay, and that's what the judge said publicly in open case. Then the question is, who is that member? Well, the article itself, the exclusive article, did not name her, right? It only said underage members, and there are only 2 members, underage members within the group, Hyein and Haerin. And other articles also refer to them as like alphabets, A. And the parents, B, C, had a conflict with each other. This says, it was recently revealed that a NewJeans member's parents were involved in a custody-related legal dispute due to differing opinions over the group's attempt to terminate their exclusive contract with ADOR. The parents of member A, who is a minor, are currently undergoing a family court proceeding concerning how parental authority should be exercised. So one parent, referred to as B, reportedly expressed concerns about the legal conflict with ADOR and took a skeptical stance on the lawsuit. It is not confirmed whether B is A's father or mother, but there's a way to figure out, right? First of all, who is the member? There's a reason why the article did not really mention it, and we're going to talk about that by talking about the statements. But here's a website, Court of Korea, scourt.go.kr. If you type in the court case number, you can look at the actual information. And the court case number is also publicly available on Wiki page that discusses the legal disputes between NewJeans and ADOR. And according to this document, defendant number 4, her surname starts with Kang. And there's only one member whose last name is Kang. That is Haerin, right? And the judge, asked the question about regarding defendant number 4. So the answer is that member in question is Haerin. Now, what about the parents? According to the legal representation section, for defendant number 4, there is only one parent, and that is the father, 친권자 부. For defendant number 5, there's both 부 and 모, father and mother. So that means, unfortunately, the father of Haerin had a dispute over her mother, and the father won in a family court. Probably because he had Haerin's support, right? And Haerin had his support. So that's the case. Now, let's turn to the statements and see what they said on the night of April 4th, the day when this article was released. Hello, we are the parents of the NewJeans members. Okay, let's assume that this was actually written by the parents, but let's decide whether it is indeed written by the parents based on the contents of what they have written. We would like to clarify that the recent media reports claiming there is division among the members' parents are completely false. We are issuing this statement to correct any misunderstandings. All 5 members have firmly decided that they cannot return to HYBE, and this decision was made after careful discussion within each of their families. From the start, we agreed that no legal action would be taken unless all 5 were fully in agreement. The members deeply trust one another and stand united. Even now, the members maintain the same position, and we, their parents, continue to fully respect and support our daughter's wishes. Despite the challenges they face, the 5 of them frequently meet and continue to nurture their close bond. As parents, we have also strengthened our communication and solidarity through this difficult time. It's deeply unsettling to see baseless rumors such as alleged family disputes or a member planning to leave being published as news. At first, we felt these rumors were not worth responding to, as they seemed designed to deliberately create division. Okay. However, since specific members' names are now being mentioned, we are choosing to respond. So the chances are they are looking at online communities what people are discussing about the case. The rumors involving member Haerin. Oh, so they decided to specifically mention her name. The rumors involving member Haerin are completely false. Both Haerin and her parents share the same firm position. Speculation about their family is entirely untrue. These unfounded and one-sided assumptions are causing severe mental stress to the member and her family. Now here's a shocker. As for the custody adjustments that pertain to a different member. Okay, so there are only 2 underage members, and they're saying that it's not Haerin. So they are basically saying that it is Hyein without mentioning her name, but it's just right there. In that case as well, both the child and her mother were firmly aligned in their wishes, which means it is her father who disagreed with their stance, right? We kindly ask that the public refrain from making any further assumptions about anyone's family situation. To be clear, all families continue to support and respect their children's choices. Article 10 of the Family Litigation Act states that in cases being handled or that have been handled by the family court, no publication or broadcast may disclose personal information, such as name, age, occupation, or appearance that could allow someone to identify the individual involved. Article 72 also provides criminal penalties for violations of this rule. We ask that you please refrain from spreading or speculating on private information. Custody matters are private family affairs. We ask that no one continue to exploit them or connect them to the legal disputes with ADOR in a malicious way. A company built on trust should not be using a member's personal family members for media manipulation. As parents, we cannot in good conscience send our children back to such a company. Neither the new leadership at ADOR nor HYBE has shown us any reason to trust them. This has not changed to this day. Wow, so there's a lot to unpack there. Let's talk about the same old pattern. First of all, it's long as always. Anything that's written by either NewJeans or McCall consulting firm or Heejin law firm that represent them or NewJeans, their statements are just long, goes on and on. And secondly, they're again accusing anyone who's writing critical things about them of being HYBE affiliated, right? There we go. The entire world is ruled by HYBE, and all journalists in Korea are being paid by HYBE. Media, they say this, media manipulation. Stop using family matters for media manipulation, HYBE and ADOR. That's what they're basically saying. But there are some other interesting things as well. First of all, okay, so here's a recap. They claim that there's no division among the parents, right? All decisions were made after thorough discussion, and all members and families agreed before taking legal action. And that has been repeated over and over again. Reports about Haerin and her family are baseless, they said. And the statement says that they are suffering severe emotional stress. And they acknowledge that another minor member's guardianship was legally adjusted. And by that, they mean Hyein, right? Only 2 underage members. But they insist that it was done in line with the family's wishes and urge restraint from speculative reporting. And then they cited Article 10 and Article 72 of the Family Litigation Act, warning that reporting on family court matters could violate the law and lead to criminal penalties. Right? And of course, once again, they also accuse ADOR and HYBE of exploiting family matters for media manipulation. Aren't we not sick of such accusation, right? Anyways. But let's address this matter first, about the law. So, yes, Article 10 of the Family Litigation Act does prohibit publicly disclosing information that could identify individuals involved in family court cases, like name, age, appearance, photos. But did the media violate any laws, like these articles? Well, the article in question does not name anyone, nor does it include photos, descriptions, or birthdays. I mean, it does have a photo, but it's all 5 members, right? And I believe that even though there is a way to figure out which member, they intentionally did not name the member in question and her parents because of probably this reason. And it only refers to, vaguely refers to one of the minor members, either Haerin or Hyein, without specifying. And most importantly, the report is based on statements made by the judge in open court. Regarding defendant number 4, are you saying the family court has ruled on the exercise of parental rights and since approved all legal actions taken in the case? So, yeah, the conclusion is we can assume that the article does not meet the criteria for identity exposure and is likely to be considered a legitimate public interest report. And what about this? The parents claim that they are fully united, but the court proceedings have confirmed a legal disagreement between parents over exercising parental authority, right? That requires a family court decision. I mean, they just simply could not agree with each other at home and they had to bring the case to the family court. It was that serious. But their statement insists that parental rights are private family matters. But in this context, the issue is directly tied to the legitimacy of the contract termination lawsuit and hence the judge's remark, right, during the court hearing. Because the dispute involves legal representation and procedure, it becomes a valid subject for public reporting. So, yeah, their claim that the article violates the Family Litigation Act appears to be an overreach and goes along with NewJeans' pattern of trying to suppress the media and manipulate the public opinion, right, with legal threats, right. But the report is fact-based, non-identifying, and concerns an ongoing legal dispute, which makes it lawful and within the bounds of press freedom. But what about, their denial that it is not Haerin? Because as we have seen, defendant number 4, her last name is Kang, right? Among the NewJeans members, the only one with the surname Kang is Kang Haerin. And in the official court case documents, it states defendant 4 with the last name Kang. So it strongly indicates that defendant 4 is Kang Haerin. And that's a legally clear identification. And defendant 4 is represented only by her father. Right? Legal guardian refers to the parents authorized to act on behalf of a minor in court. In this case, only the father is listed. Right? 친권자 부 for defendant number 4. Mother is mo, but there's only pu for defendant number 4, whereas defendant number 5, another underage member, that is Hyein, has both her parents listed. So in this case, only the father is listed with no mention of the mother. So it strongly suggests that the mother's parental authority has been either limited or removed. And yes, like I said, defendant number 5, Lee Hyein, is represented by both parents, right? Meaning both parents agree or the legal status has already been resolved. So the logical conclusion is that the court documents that are publicly available clearly show that the guardianship conflict and adjustment involved Haerin, not Hyein. But according to their statement, they went out of their way to emphasize Haerin's firm stance while indirectly pointing attention toward Hyein instead. And that's what was surprising about this statement. Why didn't they simply say that, as they always done, as NewJeans has always done, that everything is BS? You guys are all lying. They are all lying. They are all high paid. But instead, they are pointing at Hyein and her parents, saying that, okay, Haerin doesn't have an issue. It is Hyein's parents. Like, what is going on? So why would they do that? Perhaps because Haerin is widely perceived as the group's most prominent member in terms of, many things. And as I have observed, multiple comments made on this video, the live streaming session, a lot of people, especially on the Korean side, hope that at least Haerin would come back to ADOR because she was known to be the most popular, and there were many cute memes made about her when they were active as NewJeans officially. So maybe that is a reason, right? Because if it appeared that Haerin was wavering, it could give the impression that their unity is cracking, potentially causing a major public backlash. So even though the legal facts point to Haerin being involved in the guardianship issue, the official statement seems strategically framed to deflect attention toward Hyein. So here's a summary, right? They defend Haerin while subtly implying the issue lies with Hyein. And they basically said that Hyein's father betrayed them, right? Back to the statements. Let me repeat that part. As for the custody adjustments that pertain to a different member, in that case as well, both the child and her mother were firmly aligned in their wishes. And here's another interesting part. During the period when the family court case was being handled, right, to decide, which parents would represent Haerin, Minijin uploaded this as her Instagram account profile photo. Haerin's face photoshopped onto an anime character holding a squid, saying that, "Look, this looks like you." Okay, but after the the family court case has been resolved, she posted this, a photo of a cat looking out the window, and Haerin's nickname is a cat related, and that's widely known. Is it far-reaching? Perhaps it is, but we know what kind of character Minijin is, so I cannot help but question: is this all part of her strategy to, I don't know, groom or gaslight Haerin? And of course, I know that the members themselves have stated that they're not being gaslit. Stop, making remarks about that. But we also know that Minijin uploaded a private conversation with Haerin, specifically what Haerin said to Minijin right after her Hyundai card talk, right? Where Haerin sounds like almost religious towards Minijin, calling her 대표님, CEO, the boss, right? Almost idolizing her. And she uploaded this on her Instagram account for everyone to see. Now, one more thing. As per Haerin's parents, according to a Dispatch article on the story of how Source Music was the real, they basically recruited all NewJeans members in the beginning as trainees, right? For Kang Haerin, she was first scouted on the street in November 2019. At the time, she was a trainee at another agency. In December of that year, her mother reached out to Source Music, and by February 2020, she officially signed. So, maybe this is a clue, because as we have seen, her mother lost, right? Her mother, according to this article, or the assumption is, she disagreed with their decision to terminate the contract with ADOR, and she disagreed with her husband, at least according to this court case documents. But then she lost. So maybe maybe there's a reason why she disagreed, because she was the one who first reached out to Source Music, trying to, make her daughter as a trainee under Source Music. Who knows? Now, what about the fans' reaction to this statement? Specifically, the fans who still want the NewJeans members to go back to ADOR. They're basically saying, what the F is this? Because the statement basically says, okay, this specific member, Hyein's dad, is betraying us. So, look, bunnies who are still on our side, attack him, right? Pointed out. Saging is Haerin, Oging is Hyein, referring to their order in the H. So the statement basically says it's not Haerin, everybody, is actually Hyein. And this is so ridiculous. Hyein is so pitiful. They should have said that it's neither Haerin or Hyein, or everything is resolved, so shut up everybody. They should have said that instead. But they targeted Hyein instead. There's no way that they did not know that mentioning the father of, or indirectly referring to the father of Hyein would cause an attack on Hyein. But how could they do that? One person said. Haerin, so they basically said, Haerin is suffering mentally. Please stop the speculation. It's not Haerin's parents, it's Hyein's parents. So cruel, they said. And then, here's an article written about it, and the headline goes, NewJeans' parents say, division among us? That's not a fact. It's not Haerin, it's the other member. Right? Division between us? Not true. Not Haerin, but the other member, to be exact translated. And then they're laughing and cursing, saying that, oh my God, even the journalists thought this was ridiculous, right? Even the journalists are confused. What the hell? The headline is hilarious. I wonder how ridiculous the reporters thought the statement was. Wow, this really pisses me off. If you don't find that sentence weird, get your brain checked. So, and then this one says that after reading today's statements, where they accused, like always, everybody being part of HYBE, I just realized why people were frustrated and angry in the past. Because I have experienced this myself, and this is truly effed up, they said. And they're saying that even this community post will be accused of being HYBE affiliated, they said. And as it turns out, the fans who support Hyein, individual member, are raising voices, but they're getting attacked by the bunnies who still support NewJeans, which is even more frustrating. Then the question is, why did they, and by they, we could mean the parents or NewJeans. Chances are it's probably NewJeans. Why did they decide to target Hyein? There are, I don't know, some possibilities. One of them being that her uncle built a connection between NewJeans and Double Link chairman, but that connection fell apart after NewJeans made a statement denying everything, right? And according to what people said out there, according to reports, was there an actual report written about it? The uncle was the one who released the Telegram conversation messages between Minijin and the parents, right? The Telegram messages that were revealed through dispatch. And, Dabuling chairman was super mad, and I'm sure the uncle was mad too, because everything was probably blamed on him. So it is very surprising, shocking, and unfortunate. Like Minijin is now influencing members' family matters and parents. And if you think about it, before NewJeans was born as group, she wanted members who would basically listen to her and blindly follow her, as she consulted with the shaman in order to handpick those members who would follow her, obey her, right? So in the end, all I'm gonna say is that we should not forget this woman, because I don't know. Let's discuss. What do you think is the reason why they came up with this weird statement? Denying the fact that Haerin's parents had a disagreement with each other, and instead pointing to Hyein's parents, saying that Hyein's father, essentially framing him as a betrayal. What's going on? But as always, when we comment, let's try to stay positive, respectful, and classy. Thank you guys. Peace and love. Bye-bye.